Let's get right into it. Number 7. He wants you to stop asking if he's mad. Picture this. A guy's sitting on the couch, scrolling through his phone, face completely neutral. He's not thinking about anything important, probably wondering if Batman could beat a grizzly bear in a fight. Then you walk in and ask, "Are you okay? You seem upset." And now his brain has to boot up from screaming void mode, run a full diagnostic on his emotional state, and produce a verbal report. He wasn't mad, but now he's confused. Because apparently his resting face has been committing crimes against your peace of mind. Here's the thing. Men's default facial expression often registers somewhere between mildly constipated and plotting world domination. It's not intentional. Their face is just parked. Psychologically, men tend to compartmentalize emotions more than women, which means when they're not actively processing feelings, their face goes into power-saving mode. Women, on the other hand, are typically socialized to be more emotionally expressive and attuned to micro-expressions in others. So when you see a blank face, your brain goes, "Alert! Possible threat to relationship detected." But from his perspective, you just asked him to justify a face he didn't know he was making while thinking about whether hot dogs are sandwiches. The answer is no, he's not mad. He's just existing. And now he's worried you think he's mad, which is making him actually stressed. Basically, you just turned his screensaver into a full system reboot over absolutely nothing. Number 6. He wants to fix your problems because he doesn't care because he cares too much. You come home, flop on the bed, and start venting about your coworker who microwaves fish in the office kitchen. You're not looking for solutions. You just want to verbally exorcise this demon from your soul. But 30 seconds in, he interrupts with, "Why don't you just talk to HR?" And now you're annoyed because you didn't ask for a solution. You asked for empathy. Here's what's happening in his brain. Men are neurologically wired to be problem solvers. Studies show that when men hear about a problem, their prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for logic and action, lights up like a Christmas tree. For women, the brain activates more in areas related to emotional processing and empathy. So when you're venting, he's not dismissing your feelings. His brain is literally trying to rescue you from discomfort because that's how he shows love. To him, listening to you suffer without offering a fix feels like watching someone drown while holding a lifeboat. It's agonizing. He wants to be your hero, not your therapist. The problem? You don't need a hero right now. You need a witness. So when he jumps straight to solutions, he's not being emotionally tone-deaf. He's just operating from a mental user manual that says, if she's upset, eliminate the source of upset. Which is sweet in a deeply misguided caveman brain kind of way. Number 5. He wants you to believe him when he says nothing is wrong. You ask him what he's thinking about. He says nothing. You don't believe him. You ask again. He says, seriously, nothing. Now you're convinced he's hiding something. Maybe he's mad. Maybe he's cheating. Maybe he's secretly a robot and his battery is low. But here's the plot twist. He actually means it. Research shows that men have what's called a mental default network that allows their brain to go into a legitimate state of nothing. No thoughts, no feelings, just vibes. Women's brains, however, tend to stay more active in areas related to rumination and social awareness, which makes the concept of thinking about nothing sound like a glitch in the matrix. When a guy says he's thinking about nothing, he might genuinely be staring at a wall, mind beautifully blank, like a laptop on sleep mode. Or he's thinking about something so monumentally stupid, like whether a hot dog is a taco, that it doesn't even register as a thought worth reporting. But because you can't fathom a brain that isn't running 17 background apps at once, you assume he's lying. So you interrogate him. And now he has to invent a thought just to satisfy you. which ironically makes him actually annoyed. Congrats! You just created the problem you were afraid existed. Number 4. He wants to be complimented too. And no, you look fine doesn't count. Men don't talk about this much, but they're starving for compliments. Not in the tell me I'm pretty way, in the acknowledge that I exist as more than a sentient wallet way. Here's a fun fact. Studies show that men receive significantly fewer compliments than women, especially as they get older. Women compliment each other constantly: hair, outfit, energy, existence. Men, they get a compliment once every lunar eclipse, and it's usually from their mom. When a guy puts on a new shirt, he's not fishing for validation. But if you notice and say, "That looks really good on you," his brain releases a small but potent dose of dopamine. He'll probably wear that shirt every week now. And if you compliment something deeper, his work ethic, his sense of humor, the way he handled a tough situation, he'll replay that moment in his head for months. Men are conditioned to suppress vulnerability, which means they're not going to ask for affirmation, but they need it. They want to feel seen, appreciated, and valued beyond their utility. Because right now, a lot of guys feel like they're just walking toolboxes, only noticed when something needs fixing. So yeah, throw the man a compliment, especially if he's been walking around in that same hoodie for 3 years. He's trying. Number 3. He wants you to be direct, because hints are his kryptonite. You're mad. He asks if you're okay. You say, "I'm fine." Narrator voice, "She was not fine." Now he's in a psychological minefield. If he believes you, he's oblivious. If he pushes further, he's annoying. If he does nothing, he's insensitive. There's no winning. Here's the deal. Men are terrible at reading subtext, and it's not because they're dumb. It's because their brains are wired for explicit communication. Neuroscience shows that men rely more heavily on the left hemisphere of the brain, which processes language literally and logically. Women tend to engage both hemispheres, picking up on tone, body language, and emotional undertones. So when you say, "I'm fine," with a tone that could shatter glass, he hears the words, not the vibe. To him, fine means fine, not "I'm upset and you need to figure out why." His brain doesn't have the software update for emotional cryptography. What he wants is for you to just say it. "I'm upset because you forgot to text me back." Boom! Clear. Actionable. Now he knows what's wrong and can actually fix it. But when you make him play detective, he's going to fail. Not because he doesn't care, because he's operating with a flip phone in a smartphone world. So save yourself the frustration and just tell him, in words, actual words, not vibes, not hints, not interpretive dance. Number 2, he wants alone time, and it has nothing to do with you. He comes home, says hi, then disappears into the garage, the basement, or the bathroom for 45 minutes. You start wondering if you did something wrong. Spoiler, you didn't. Men need what psychologists call decompression time. After a day of work, social interaction, and performing emotional labor, their brain needs to power down. It's not personal, it's biological. Studies show that men's stress response involves retreating inward to regulate emotions, whereas women tend to process stress through connection and conversation. So when he vanishes into his man cave, he's not avoiding you. He's rebooting. His brain is overheating from a day of making decisions, managing conflict, and pretending to care about Dave's opinion in the meeting. That alone time is how he recharges so he can actually be present with you later. If you interrupt him during the sacred decompression window, he's going to be irritable, not because you're annoying, but because you just yanked him out of airplane mode before his brain finished defragmenting. Think of it like this. He's a phone at 2% battery. That alone time is his charger. You wouldn't unplug your phone mid-charge and then get mad when it dies, right? Same logic. Let the man sit in silence for 20 minutes. He'll come back to you a whole new person, or at least a less murdery one. Number 1. He wants you to respect his hobbies, even if you think they're stupid. He spends 3 hours building a Lego set, or playing video games, or watching grown men throw a ball around a field. And you're thinking, this is what he does with his free time? Yes, it is, and it matters more than you think. Men's hobbies aren't just hobbies. They're psychological survival mechanisms. Research shows that engaging in leisure activities, especially ones that require focus and skill, reduces cortisol, increases dopamine, and provides a sense of accomplishment. For a lot of men, their hobbies are the only space where they feel fully in control and free from judgment. At work, he's got a boss. At home, he's got responsibilities. But when he's gaming, fishing, or building model trains, he's the master of his domain. It's not about escaping you. It's about reclaiming autonomy in a world that constantly demands performance. When you mock his hobbies or roll your eyes at his excitement, you're not just dismissing an activity. You're dismissing a part of his identity, and that stings more than you realize. So even if you think his hobby is ridiculous, let him have it. He's not asking you to join him. He's asking you to let him be weird in peace. Because honestly, we all have something stupid that makes us happy. His just happens to involve plastic bricks or a screen. Yours might involve true crime podcasts and an alarming amount of scented candles, glass houses, and all that. That's all for today. I'll be making more videos like this, so subscribe if you don't want to miss them.